Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's demonstration, I want to walk you through how to create a 3D form with digital shading techniques. So in Adobe Fresco, we'll go through the following steps. We'll start by creating a new document and choosing small postcard in the print category. Next, we'll use our drawing aids to draw two circles, one for our sphere and one for a light source, just like we did on paper. After we draw two circles, we'll start shading, and we're going to make everything on separate layers to keep our work nice and neat, because our goal here is to create a smooth blend of light to dark using digital shading techniques. We'll also make an artist color palette here, and basically a color palette is a variety of colors or shades or values that an artist has decided they will use throughout their entire project. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do in Adobe Fresco is go to Create New in the bottom left-hand screen. Under the print category, I select small postcard. Before I draw my two circles, I want to make my artist color palette. So I'm going to pretend to change the colors here. I'll choose black, hit the plus sign. I'll choose white and hit the plus sign. And then I'll choose 3 or more shades of gray. Personally, I like to use 4. So I'll choose a light gray, hit the plus sign, and I'm just using the slider here all the way on the left side. Choose like a middle gray and some darker shades of gray. Now that I have my artist palette, my color palette ready, I need to start using my drawing aids. I'll start with a circle and I'll change the size how I like it. And I like this position. Now I'm ready to outline my circle. I'll change the color to black. I want like a smaller circle here. Or I'm sorry, smaller brush size. On a new layer, I'm gonna make another circle for my light source. And I'm gonna put my light source like over here on the right side. You get to choose where you put it. I want to put mine on the right. So I'll go ahead and do that. Before I go much further, we are using the live brush, specifically the watercolor. You can use any of these options here as long as you're using the live brush. The reason that we are using the live brush for this project is because our goal is to make a smooth blend of light to dark, and the live brush is great for blending different values together to get that nice smooth blend of light to dark and give us the illusion that we have a 3D form on a 2D surface. Okay, back to adding what artists call a horizon line. I need to use a ruler. I like to rotate the ruler using 2 fingers, so I put 1 finger down and then drag the other finger from side to side until I get the angle I want. In art, a horizon line is the line that separates the ground from the sky. In this project, the horizon line is the table that the ball is sitting on. So it separates the table from the wall behind it. Okay, so we're going to pretend that we're making a ball that's sitting on a table. We add a horizon line. And actually, I want to make my horizon line on a new layer. So I'll go new layer, then I make my horizon line. This will make more sense later on. Turn the ruler off. I'm ready to start shading. So if I know that my light source, I'm going to put it on the right side of my ball here, or my sphere. I know that my cast shadow will go on the opposite side of my light source. So the cast shadow will go somewhere over here, and the highlight will go somewhere right here. Okay? So to get a really nice clean edges with the live brush, I'm going to add a new layer to do all my shading, and I'm going to come to the lasso and select the one that looks like a circle. This might take you a few tries to get a circle that's just right. And I like to start my lasso on the outside of my circle. That one's close, but not quite. I want a little bit more precise. There we go. So the lasso is great for making a selection, because the selection you make, when you go to use a live brush, it will stay inside the lasso. So now I'm going to start shading with with one of my darker midtones. I'd say probably the darkest is what I'm working on. And then slowly, as I go closer to my light source, I'll choose my lighter shades of gray. And then eventually I'll choose white and just soften these edges here. I'll go back in and do what artists call refining this part. So I'm just going in and I'm making it look exactly how I want it to. So the great thing about the live brush, especially with the watercolor, is yes, you can change the size, which is great. We have something called flow, which for this project I recommend keeping it pretty high, because flow tells us how see-through is the color that we're using. Can we see through it? So if I had it down here, it's this is also called opacity for other tools and brushes. It's called flow for the watercolor brush. We're going to leave it pretty high because our goal here is to layer our values so that we get that smooth blend of light to dark. We also have something called water flow. Water flow will help our values blend together softly. So I'm going to keep it at a higher number for this project. I need to go back in here and add some reflected light, just like that. And I think I'm ready to add my cast shadow. So on a new layer, I'm going to deselect and use black for a cast shadow. Oops, and I went a little bit on my sphere. No big deal. I just have to click and hold the layer until it bounces, and then I can change the order of it and put it underneath the shading I did for my sphere. I'm going to add value to the surface. So the table, we're going to pretend our ball is sitting on a table. So I'm going to add value based on the light source in my picture. Oops, forgot a step here. We're going to want to use the lasso to keep our table separate from the wall behind it. So I go back to my live brush and I just go from side to side. I pretty much do the same thing I did for my sphere, but I'm doing it for the table because I'm pretending the ball is sitting on a table. So just like that. Again, I'll change the order of this so that the cast shadow reappears. I'm going to add a new layer here, deselect, use that lasso, and now I need to fill in the wall section because I'm pretending that my ball is sitting on a table and there's a wall behind the table. So I'll start adding value based on where that light source is. So everything far away from the light source will be a dark value. Everything closer to the light source, and then it will be a lighter value because as we move closer to the light source, things appear to be brighter. I made a little oopsie here on my sphere, so I need to deselect, go back to the layer that the sphere is on, and just cover that up, just like that. So I'm going to play around with the order of my layers. I want that light source back in my painting, and I want my horizon line back in my painting as well. And I also like the outline around my sphere. So there you have it. If you have any questions, just let me know.